Hope everybody's enjoying this lovely reception and the music. Thank you very much. I wanted to say a few things about the J.W. Graham Medal in Innovation and Computing. So the J.W. Graham Medal in Innovation and Computing was created in 1994 to recognize the leadership and many innovative contributions made to the University of Waterloo and to the Canadian computer industry by J. Wesley Graham during his career both as a professor and as a university administrator. I'm really pleased to introduce Ian McPhee to present the medal to the newest recipient. Ian arrived at the University of Waterloo campus in the late 1960s to study math and computer science. His study led him to the work in the computer systems group until 1981 under Wes Graham. Together with Wes Graham, Ian McPhee created Watcom in 1981, and Ian became its president in 1986. He provided innovative leadership to enable Watcom to achieve international recognition as a technology leader in the programming tools and database segment of the personal computer software market. Ian later assisted with the $1.8 billion mergers of LivePage, Jana Systems, and Cybel Systems, which was the largest software acquisition in Canadian history. In 1995, Ian became the very first recipient of the Faculty of Mathematics J.W. Graham Medal for Computing and Innovation, and is now a member of the selection committee. In addition to being a major donor to the University of Waterloo, Ian is a tireless volunteer and promoter. So please join me in welcoming Ian McPhee.
Thank you. You're too kind, Mark. I appreciate your very thoughtful comments. It's a great honor for me to make this presentation and read this citation for Don Cowan today to receive the Graham Medal. The J.W. Graham Medal in Computing and Innovation was created to recognize graduates who exemplify the qualities shown by Professor Graham. In honor of this recognition, the first medal was actually awarded to Wes Graham himself in 1994. Given that today is a celebration of his legacy, the Medal Selection Committee felt this was the appropriate occasion to make a second special honorary award to the person who worked closely with Wes in many ways and who instigated both the Graham Medal and the Graham Trust that was the sponsor of the research we heard about today in the symposium. So it's my great pleasure to recognize Don Cowan as today's recipient of the J.W. Graham Medal in Computing and Innovation. Don obtained both his master's and doctoral degree in applied mathematics from the University of Waterloo. He began his teaching career in the early 1960s and was the founding chair of the computer science department. Under his leadership, the department grew from 3 to 35 members in 5 years and soon ranked as one of the top in the world. Like Wes, Don was always passionate about educating and enabling talented young people to innovate through his various leadership, mentorship, and supporting roles. Don was part of a team that developed and distributed several software systems, including Watt4, Watt5, Wattball, Widget, Waterloo Pascal, APL Basic, COBOL, and Fortran. The local area networks, also Waterloo Janet and Mac Janet, and many other software systems for education. He ran computer science days to interest high school students in computers and programming and supervised over 120 graduate students during his career. In 1999, he received the designation of Distinguished Professor Emeritus in recognition of all his academic accomplishments. Don is also an enthusiastic entrepreneur, participating in early University of Waterloo spin-off companies like Watcom and LivePage. retirement has not slowed Don down in terms of his interest in emerging technologies and their application for social good. He keeps current through his directorships of various startups, nonprofits, and corporations. He currently sits as chair of the board of Driftscape, Volunteer Attract, and Civic Atlas. Don was a close colleague and friend of Wes Graham, sharing values, goals, and many successes that helped establish Waterloo in the forefront of computing globally from its early days. In recognition of his remarkable achievements, I'm pleased to present the J.W. Graham Medal in Computing Innovation to Don Cowan.
Thank you so much, Ian. I really appreciate those remarks. And let's put it this way, I'm blown away. When I received an invitation to, are we good? Invitation to receive the medal, I was also suggested I might make a few remarks about my life here at Waterloo. So thank God we're in the bar. I'll try to keep it as light and entertaining as I can. Just on August 24th, I received an email announcing Wes Graham Symposium, which I sort of already knew about. And I just, stopped reading at the first line because I put on my calendar and somehow I read the rest. And that's when I discovered I received this award. Otherwise, frankly, I wouldn't have known it was even happening. But thank goodness I did. And I owe a lot of people a lot of thanks. I mean, first I want to thank the sneaky Graham Medal Committee that met without me, and considering I'm a member of the committee. And the Faculty of Mathematics for this award. It's always special to be recognized by your peers. It really is an incredible thing to happen. I'd also like to thank a few other people. One, of course, is my family, and particularly my late wife, Margaret, for her incredible support and encouragement, because it's been a wild journey on my career. Some of the crazy things we got into, but she supported me all the way. I also have to thank the late Ralph Stan for his support. He brought me to Waterloo in the first place. When I came here, I trusted that I was coming to a good place. I had no idea what I was getting into. And he always advised me, even after he left Waterloo, and he usually advised me very bluntly. At one point in time, I was offered a pretty good position at, I won't name the name, another university. And I phoned him up for some advice. And I got the advice. It was very simple. Don't be an idiot. Mark, you would appreciate that one.
I told you the voice, but yeah, it was in my head.
Mark used to work with Ralph at one point in time. And of course, the late Wes Graham, with whom I worked for almost 40 years, and an incredible influence on my career in just so many ways I can't even begin to describe them, but I'll try to give you a little bit of the flavor of what I've gone through. It's been an amazing 62-year journey. And just in case you're wondering, I came here at age 3, okay? Through the halls of the university and related organizations. And I've lived through vacuum tube computers, $8 million transistor computers, and that $800 device you now carry in your back pocket, which has more power and storage in it than that wonderful big computer we had back many years ago. I first was offered a position here at the U of W in February 1960. And it was offered to me by Ralph Stanton, and I trusted Ralph, and so I accepted the position right away. It was pretty good. I was going to get $250 a month, a master's degree, and no fees. So, and I had to be a TA. I had to work. And so I drove in. That was in February. In March, my future wife and I drove down to Waterloo to check it out. Here we are in the city of Waterloo, 20,000 people. And I drive up, in front of the Waterloo Hotel, with King and Herb, to ask a local where the University of Waterloo was. He never heard of the place. So I said, try Waterloo College. It's been around for 50 odd years by that time. He knew where that was. He always just go up to King to Dearborn, that's on University Avenue, and hang a left. And sure enough, and then we found the University of Waterloo, and there it was, a great big open field with a building and a half in it. So I should also point out that my mother-in-law had just read an article in the Golden Mail about Waterloo, and she wondered where the hell I was taking her daughter. So I arrived here in September 1960, and that was 5 days after my wife and I were married, and we had 2 buildings by that time. They'd finished the second building. So that was the start. In 1961, I was invited to help run the new computing center with Wes Graham and figure out how to teach large numbers of students, because I'd mastered the new computer, an IBM 1620. In 1965 and 66, helping to acquire and install Canada's largest computer, I mean literally. Think about this little university in southwestern Ontario with less than 5,000 students going after a machine that size. Bloody nerve. Man, what gall, And 1 year out of a Ph.D. in 1966, I was invited to become the chairman of the new computer science department in the Faculty of Mathematics. My God. It took me 3 seconds to say yes. I didn't know what I was getting into. That's fine. And look what has happened. And boy, a lot of very good people have built this department into an incredible thing. And of course, Vivek, when he was giving his little talk, stole my line, which was about how big computer science is. But I like to look at it this way. If you take UCLA, Stanford, Berkeley, and Caltech, and add up all their computer science students, you've got half the enrollment at Waterloo. I had the fortune to spend 2 sabbaticals, one at Stanford and Xerox PARC, another one at IBM Research. And at Stanford and Xerox, I had the good fortune to work with a fellow named Vince Cerf. Joanne McKinley may know him. He's the chief ambassador for, or chief evangelist for Google, and also one of the 2 fathers of the internet. And then I also had the opportunity to see the beginnings of Silicon Valley, because Xerox PARC was where small things like companies like Adobe and 3Com were created. It was just a wonderful experience. Never been with such a group of people in all my life, other than here at Waterloo, of course. Then I continued to work with colleagues in Brazil for 55 years. Wes Graham had made a speaking tour of Latin America, which started this whole Brazilian connection, and we've been working with people ever since. In fact, my current list of graduate students and postdocs are all Brazilian, every one. And then, of course, we set up and ran a thing called WhatFac, the Waterloo Foundation for the Advancement of Computing. How we came up with that name, I don't know. It was a charitable foundation we set up in the mid-1970s with Paul Dirksen and Wes Graham to develop educational software for a digital equipment, PDP 1145. Depends on your age, you may remember digital equipment or not. And then I had the opportunity to just go all over the place talking about what we were doing here. It was wonderful. All sorts of people invited me to travel all over Europe and other places to talk. And of course, then we moved on and we worked with Ian McPhee and Wes Graham as they led Don Cowan involved in world-class compilers and database systems. It was just incredible. And then again, working with Ian, Eric Mackey, David Boswell, and of course Wes in the 1990s on a thing called LivePage, which turned out to be our SQL text database company. Ian sort of told the rest of my paragraph, and I retired in 1996 because the university offered a deal I couldn't refuse. I'm still active directing research, though. They call you distinguished professor emeritus when you do this. This means you work hard for the university, you just don't get paid. I've got 2 postdocs, 6 graduate students, and a research professor working with me at the moment. And I'm also involved with 4 companies actually, one in volunteerism called Volunteer Track, Driftscape, which is a company in digital tourism, and Civic Atlas, which is using artificial intelligence to extract value from government data. And then we're also working on, we've got a not-for-profit working on innovation in community-based healthcare. Now that just, I hate to say it, but that's just a little bit of a career. I've had incredible stuff that I could thought of in those talks, and I have not included here. But I've enjoyed my time here at Waterloo. It's been an exciting time. But I want to finish by telling you a couple of stories, and again, I've been scooped. You may have picked up this little card, and you read the story on the back about the big computer. Well, I'd like you to tell you the truth. In 1965, we were in the process of forming the Faculty of Mathematics. I can't remember exactly when we voted ourselves out of the Faculty of Arts, but we were enough faculty members to do that. And we were going to build a new mathematics and computer building. And we were going to house a big computer in it. I'm not sure the building had been designed at that time. There was going to be a big room in the middle of it, the so-called Red Room, which some of you, of course, know very well. Others, it's since disappeared, unfortunately. And basically, in those days, when you went for a building from the government would put up 90% if you'd find 10%. The university would need 10%. So that's great. Yeah, it hasn't changed, right? I haven't kept track lately, so it's good to know. So Wes and I were working one night on trying to put together a proposal for this computer, this massive computer we were going after. Oh my, how the hell do you ever talk a government into giving you this pile of money for a computer? Maybe if we blend it in with another project. So Wes got this bright look on his face and said, well, computers are just furniture, right? Yeah, of course. So we just bundled in the computer along with the desks and the chairs and the other stuff as furniture. So there was a $5 million building and $8 million worth of furniture. My God, they approved it. That was fantastic. However, there's a little problem. The problem was that the other universities found out what we pulled off, and they were not happy. And so they, shall we say, spoke to the Ontario government, who asked us to give back some of the money under good terms. The terms were very favorable. And the university stepped up and picked up the difference. And that was absolutely critical, and that's important. Mark, just keep that in mind if you ever get in trouble. So that's, as I say, I'm sort of telling what I call Wesley stories now. That those of us who were good friends of Wes's, we used to call them that. I'm going to tell another one, it's called the tomato soup caper. Wes, yeah, I wonder what I'm getting into, right? Wes Graham was a man of his word. If he said he'd do something, he'd do it. No question about that. And we were teaching business programming using COBOL. And the students pointed out an error in Wes is teaching, and that the compiler that we were using, our wet-ball compiler, did not work that way. And of course, Wes disagreed with him, and he had an opinion, but he usually listened. But he was sure they were wrong, but he told the students he'd eat the program if they proved him wrong. Guess what? They proved him wrong. So Wes said, well, I guess I got to do it. So he first checked with his doctor and make sure it wouldn't kill him. He then showed up in class with a blender, the smallest version of the program he could find. Don't forget, it was printed on paper the whole time, no screens. And 2 cans of tomato soup. He put the whole mess in the blender and then turned a puree and beat the bejeebers out of it and then drank the contents. And that's the honest to God truth. I mean, this is not a made up story. The only thing you don't note is that Wes never ate tomato soup again. So I could go on and tell Wesley stories for the next several hours, but I won't do that. It's just, we had a lot of fun, a lot of adventures here, crazy times. And look what's happened. It's just an amazing place. And what can I say? I'm going to stop at this point and just thank you again to all involved for this honor. I just didn't believe it was happening. I feel truly overwhelmed. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Don, and congratulations again for a truly well-deserved honor. We're really, really grateful for your contributions to the faculty, to the university, to the community, and frankly, just thrilled to see you recognized in this way. So this is the end of our award ceremony, of our talks, and this lovely finale. But I do invite you to stay. We have food, we have wine, we have good company. So please enjoy, and thank you everybody for celebrating this special occasion with us.